Good evening or afternoon, depending on where you're at in the world. This is Ryan Anderson, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more about our gut health challenge, but specifically, I'm going to spend the majority of the time talking about one product in particular, and that is Repair. So over the next few weeks, as we're really dialing in on the gut health challenge, we're going to take one product each week and talk about the product, the benefits, the science, the whys, the ins, the outs, and all of the other wonderful stuff. But as we start to go through this, I just wanted to talk about more in depth around the idea of poor gut health and the effect that it has, or the negative effect, I should say, on your health. So as we start to look at this, 70 million Americans suffer from digestive diseases, and it costs the USA over $100 billion in medical bills. Our bodies are more than bacteria, more bacteria than human. So when we start looking at some of this, I can't even say some of these words. GERD, 64.6 million prescriptions a year for gastroesophageal reflux disease, 64.6 million prescriptions each year. Vitamin D, 50% of the US is deficient in vitamin D. And this is the one thing that we start talking about. A lot of people don't understand when we get into gut health, the negativity that's around the fact that our guts aren't healthy and are not able to absorb the proper nutrition. Obesity, bone density issues, sadness, poor immune function, all associated with the fact that 50% of Americans are 50% deficient in vitamin D. B12, also known as the energy vitamin, memory problems, mood swings, muscle weakness, apathy. We start looking at 60 to 80% of the immune system is located in the gut. There are more than 25 different diseases and syndromes, including Alzheimer's, depression, rheumatoid arthritis, that have been linked to bacterial imbalance inside our guts. Heartburn drugs are the top selling over-the-counter prescription medications in this country, totaling over $10 billion each year. Now, here's what nutrition starts in the gut, obviously. 191,311 total deaths due to digestive diseases last year in America, 191,000 deaths. 45 million hospitalizations due to indigestion, 22 million work loss days due to chronic indigestion, and 66 million cases of heartburn each year. Now, these are reported, right? These are not the people that are buying the OTCs or various things, over-the-counter drugs to help with indigestion or heartburn. These are reported cases, over 66 million. Eczema, skin disease. We start to look at some of the things, wrinkles. I'm not even going to read all these. Acne, gut bacteria creates 95% of the body's serotonin. You know, we talk about M3Z Bliss, that product that helps balance serotonin levels in the body. But a big part of that, again, goes back to gut health. We start looking at some of this. There are microbes have 360 times more protein coding DNA than we do. It's crazy to start thinking about this. So again, here's our gut. And in our gut, in the lining of our gut, a healthy gut should look just like this. Normal, tight junctions in between these mucosal barriers. As we start looking at this, this is what a healthy gut looks like. So this is the lining of the gut. When you start talking about nutrition, we've talked about this a lot with our sticks, so on and so forth. We start talking about the bioavailability of these products. Being able to consume a product, get it into our guts, out of the gut, into the bloodstream, and to the cells in which we need it. That's proper nutrition. And so a lot of products have a really tough time if they're not formulated correctly, or in the case that we're talking about tonight, if your gut health is not where it needs to be, then it makes it even more difficult for us to be able to absorb. So this is what a healthy gut looks like. We start looking at some of these bad germs, bad bacteria, toxins, undigested food, all of that. The lining of our gut in a healthy gut keeps all of that from entering into our bloodstream. It helps our immune system, it helps inflammation in the body, and so on and so forth. But over time, stress, diets, our environments, the various things, what happens is we get what we call a leaky gut. So what a leaky gut does is it becomes inflamed, it becomes leaky, and those normal tight junctions start to separate. And as we do that, it allows for bad bacteria, toxins, and undigested food to leak into our bloodstreams. Now, I talk about this a lot, and I know that I'm a lot older than the majority of you that are listening on this call. Stacy Sova's sitting in here, and she's my baby sister, so I'm much older than her. But when I was a kid, I never really heard of gluten intolerances. I never really heard of dairy intolerances. I never heard of, as many nut allergies or, all of these different things that are now are crazy. Like, taking my kids to school lunch the other day, and all of the restrictions that they have just because of all of these food allergies. Again, all of this is caused because of improper gut health, which allows a leaky, inflamed gut allows for these things, undigested food or toxins and things to get into our bloodstream. And as it does such, it makes it so that our bodies aren't able to break those down, and therefore we become intolerant or allergic to those. So as we start to go through this, one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is the repair. We repair, rebuild, rebalance. But what we're going to talk about tonight is the Repair Plus. So the Repair Plus, I get this question a lot from individuals. Ryan, I'm just starting out. I'm starting to learn more about gut health. I'd love to do the whole system, which we highly recommend. But there's certain things that prohibit me for whatever reason to do that. Financial, whatever, those things. So I always say that if you're going to start just one of the products, Repair Plus is going to be the one that you're going to want to start with. Why? It improves your gut wall cellular tight junctions. So what it's doing is it's actually repairing the gut to make it so that your gut is healthier, so that we can absorb proper nutrition. It allows the toxins and the bad bacteria to stay out of our bloodstream. Assists with digestive health and regularity. Again, a healthy bowel, and I know that we're talking about this and sometimes people get a little bit sensitive to this, but healthy bowels, you should have a healthy bowel movement at least once a day. And you might think to yourself, if you're somebody that's regular, well, of course, yeah, sometimes multiple times a day, right? But I know people who go days without going to the bathroom, right? And that is so unhealthy. And so it assists with digestive health and regularity, supports healthy gut function, supports healthy microbiome development. There are some probiotics in this. So it's going to help with gut health around that as well. This is not a pre-probiotic like our Pre-Pro Plus, but this does have probiotics in it as well to help, supports healthy microbiome development, supports cardiovascular health, fiber supports the growth of good bacteria, supports the immune system, and supports healthy blood sugar balance. Again, when we can help people balance their foods and we can help people to help from a digestive perspective and get the proper nutritions out of the foods that we want, then we have it. So Repair Plus ingredient is the L-glutamine. The reason why we have L-glutamine, we have both soluble and non-soluble fibers in this, which helps with digestion as well. But the reason why we have L-glutamine specifically is it enhances the gut barrier function. Again, we're trying to take those leaky guts and tighten those again to make a healthy gut so that we can do that, to fight against bad gut flora, keeps the epithelial cells from dying, and it avoids the tissue breakdown. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to minimize all of that inflammation that's happening in the gut. So the gut soothing complex, Repair Plus ingredient is licorice root as well, increases mucus, prolongs intestinal cell life. And as I start reading through some of these ingredients, you can be like, man, that doesn't sound very good. But one of the things that I've noticed with this particular product itself, in fact, I was reading a text from someone earlier today because all of the M's products and Benihana's products, they all taste fantastic. And Repair Plus is no exception to that. But for some of us that are not used to some of these natural ingredients like licorice roots and anise seed and some of these other things, L-glutamine and the soluble fibers that are in there, some of you might not your taste buds might not be used to it. So the text I was reading earlier today was of this person that said that they knew how they felt when they took the Repair Plus. So they would actually plug their nose. This is not a good plug for the product because I promise you it tastes great. But they plugged their nose to get it down because they knew how it made them feel. Now their body is craving it. And so when they start to run out, the text was, it's an emergency. I need the products. I need the products. Their body starts to not only demand it, but it really relies on that as well. So Repair Plus ingredient aniseed increases mucus and prolongs intestinal cell life. So you can start to see some of the things. Peppermint leaf extract reduces flatulence and abdominal pain. So it's going to help with that bloating and abdominal pain, traditionally used to soothe upset stomachs. So again, if you have like an upset stomach or somebody that's like that, here's the opportunity for that. Slippery elm bark supports mucosal barrier in the gut and soothes damaged gut tissue and allows healing. And the cool thing about all of these ingredients are they're not like these pharmaceutical names that's really hard to understand. We would encourage you, if you are under the care of a physician, to absolutely share these products with your doctor and allow them to let them know that you're doing a gut health challenge and some of those things. But I'd also encourage you to, because I know I say that because I know what the doctors, when they look at these ingredients, how they're gonna react. They're gonna be very favorable for you taking these products. But then when you, the other thing that I would ask is if you go to PubMed, PubMed.gov, this is a website that publishes all of the medical reviews and scientific papers on specific ingredients and so on and so forth. I would strongly encourage you, if you're one of those analytical people that just loves to have research and to know what I'm taking into my body, I would absolutely encourage you to go to PubMed.gov and look up some of these ingredients and see all of these things that we're talking about is not hypothetical. There's real science behind all of these ingredients, and the combination in which we put them together is very important. So with that being said, let's go to the fiber blend ingredient. Acacia fiber is soluble, strengthens the gut barrier. It's a prebiotic food, good for bacteria. Again, prebiotic is the food that our bacteria in our gut, the good bacteria that we need, can feed on, and it's good food for that. So as we start talking about colonization of good bacteria in our gut, which is very important, it makes it very simple and easy for people to do that. With probiotics, Acacia fiber produces fatty acids that repair the intestinal cells, lining of the gut wall, reduces gas and bloating caused by other fibers. So again, this is not something that's going to make it so that it's hard. Here's more of the fiber blend, the citrus pectin, soluble fiber, blood and digestive tract detoxifier, regulates sugar and cholesterol. We talked about the blood sugar levels earlier, and promotes bowel regularity. Enzymes. Repair Plus is a alpha galactosidase, which is for indigestion, overgrowth of candida, reduces bloating, and prevents gas and indigestion. So when you study here and you look at the entirety of the Love Your Gut Challenge and you start looking at some of the things that we're doing from an overall perspective, one of the things that I would ask as you start looking at this, just this one product alone, just this one product that we're looking at and all of the things that it's doing for just your overall health, is something that I think that everybody, I know that everybody can benefit from. And it's definitely something that people can not only get excited about, but they can also be able to, see results with. And that's, as we start talking about what we do in this industry, a big part of what we do is we are storytellers, right? And we have the ability to share a story and tell people about the way that these products have impacted your life. And so with the Love Your Gut protocol, one of the things that I would love to end this call on, if I may, is right here, and we've got this more modified version of this on the Love Your Gut Challenge page. So if you go to www.loveyourgutchallenge.com, there's a PDF here that you can download and look at it. And this is something that I would ask. See, on this right here, on the one that we have online, it goes through 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But the reason why we have 14 days later is this is a perfect assessment that you can take for yourself, but then also a customer or somebody else. 9 out of 10 people that we're going to come in contact with has poor gut health. 9 out of 10 people. And as you sit down and you start looking at some of these things, I'm just going to read them out loud here for you. I would ask if any of these things apply to you, but more importantly, obviously you're here, you're getting educated, you're learning more about what we're doing and so on and so forth. Some of this is obviously going to relate to you because you're here for a reason. But the second part of that is when you start looking at this, how many people do you know that some of these symptoms relate to? Mental confusion, absent-mindedness, poor concentration, indecision, right? Right there, my wife could probably check all of those off for me. I don't know if it's gut health or the fact that we've got so much stuff going on. But with all of that that's there, do we know anybody? Mood swings, anxiety, depression, irritability, overweight, underweight, fatigue, lack of energy, headaches, cravings, digestive problems such as gas, ulcers, heartburn, IBS, irregularity, constipation, or diarrhea. Those are 2 things. Painful inflammation, joints, muscles, sinuses, intestines, yeast infections, blood pressure, hypoglycemia, skin disorders such as acne, psoriasis, eczema, gender-specific problems, some of the hormone things that are there, eating disorders, anorexia, bulimia, excessive appetite. All of these things, all of these symptoms are linked to poor gut health. And these are a side effect. And one of the things that I love about what we're doing with the Love Your Gut Challenge is, no, we are not making health claims. We're not saying that we're going to cure or treat any of these symptoms. What we're talking about is let's not look at the symptoms of poor gut health. Let's focus on gut health as a whole and what can we do as a movement with the Love Your Gut Challenge, as a movement, what can we do to help impact people's lives by helping them with healthier guts? And that's our focus. So this week we're talking about Repair Plus. Next week we're going to be talking about digestive enzymes, and then followed by pre-probiotics and SMART. So again, this is something that is changing the world in which we live in. And if you look at the trends, it hasn't been going in the direction that we need it to go. When you start looking at some of the gut health issues that are out there in the world today, and some of the statistics that we shared in the beginning, but we have the answer. We have the solution, not only for ourselves, but those people that we come in contact with. So with that being said, I want to thank you for dialing in and listening to us talk about Repair Plus. Make sure that you get some and share some and consume some, and let's go out and change the world one gut at a time. Thank you. God bless, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.